Hello and welcome back to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE. We are here this week with the go-home shows heading into Smackdown, Super-Showdown and Crown Jewel. We will be finding out which superstars from Raw, NXT and Smackdown will be competing in the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring triple threat matches at Crown Jewel, as well as completely finalising the card down for the two pay-per-views as well. And Raw gets underway here with Kevin Owens making his way down to the ring for an 80 here. You know, he's talking about how he's got his match here with Roderick Strong. He wins, he gets Adam Cole at the pay-per-view. And he says that he'd like to say to Roddy, it's nothing personal, but it is, because you keep getting in my way. All of you Undisputed Era boys keep getting in my way. So I'm finally going to get some much-needed aggression out right now. And the match underway. Kevin Owens taking on Roderick Strong. And at one point, Bobby Fish comes out from the entranceway, the referee distracted with him, Adam Cole, running in through the crowd, getting ready to go after Kevin Owens, goes for a super kick onto Owens, but Owens ducks out the way. Adam Cole accidentally super kicking Roderick Strong instead, dazing him. Owens hitting a stunner onto Adam Cole out the ring, and then hitting a stunner onto Roderick Strong as well, and picking up the pinfall here for a 73. Kevin Owens coming out on top, getting that match at Crown Jewel against Adam Cole confirmed with the win here after Adam Cole's botched interference. 73 from Owens, 57 from Strong. The two doing well here, getting that 73, getting the show off to a good start, I would say. And yeah, I'm happy with that. We then go backstage to Imperium, being interviewed by Charlie Caruso. Imperium talking about their dominance, talking about their win last week on their Raw debuts. Before they can really say anything, Breezango storm into them, the Raw Tag Team Champions, taken out a few weeks ago by Imperium, and now targeting Imperium. A brawl breaks out between the two tag teams, and in the end they have to be separated, Imperium and Breezango. A lot of aggression towards each other. They'll get a chance to settle it though in their Raw Tag Team title match coming up at the pay-per-view, but a lot of animosity between these two teams, understandably, I'd say, following Imperium's attack for a 59 for the segment here. And then we go to Ember Moon comes out, makes her entrance, and then followed by Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, Karma and Lana Purrazzo on the mic, talking about how this is her opportunity, how she's going to show everybody that she is better than Ember Moon. She's going to break Ember Moon here and now, to the point where Ember Moon, she's going to go back on the shelf. She's going to do what she does best and get injured, collect her paycheck for sitting at home, whilst Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuoso of professional wrestling, is going to take that women's Money in the Bank briefcase and hold it like a real champion would, because that's what it is. That is what the Money in the Bank briefcase is. It's just a championship in a box, effectively, especially when you're a superstar as good as Deonna Purrazzo. For a 74, and then we have the match, Deonna Purrazzo taking on Ember Moon, and it's back and forth. There's a lot of attempted interference. Eventually, Green, Karma and Lana all being banished by the referee from ringside, leaving just Purrazzo and Ember Moon. And in the end, Ember Moon picking up the victory with the Eclipse for a 66 here. 64 from Purrazzo, 55 from Ember Moon. And it is Ember Moon who comes out on top. Miss Money in the Bank picking up the victory against her rival here, as we go backstage to Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish talking. Kyle O'Reilly taping up, getting some last minute training in before his main event match later in the King of the Ring, in Raw's King of the Ring final against Daniel Bryan. Bobby Fish comes in, checks how he's doing, and says, he asks Kyle if Kyle wants Bobby out there for him, and Kyle says that, I appreciate the support, Bobby, but I want to do this myself. And Bobby says he respects that, they show, they bump fists, and then Bobby gets on his way, leaving Kyle to mentally and physically warm up for that match later for the 65. We then cut to a little promo video for the Women's World Title match coming up at Crown Jewel, Asuka versus Bayley. Asuka shown, as well as showing the two superstars training, neither here tonight, but we show them both preparing, getting ready for that match in their respective gyms areas, and hopefully this will be a really good match between the two at Crown Jewel. Next up we have some more action. Hardcore champion Timmy Thatcher taking on Matt Hardy. Timmy Thatcher attacking Jeff Hardy after his King of the Ring match with Kyle O'Reilly last week. And now Matt Hardy looking for some revenge on his brother. But he can't get it. Timothy Thatcher picking up the win by submission with the Fujiwara armbar for the 47. The 50 from Matt, the 56 from Timothy. A little bit disappointing segment rating wise, I would say, but you know, the show's been good so far and hopefully it will continue that way, so I won't have too many complaints. Afterwards, Timothy Thatcher refusing to release the Fujiwara armbar onto Matt Hardy. The referee trying to break it. In the end, Jeff Hardy having to sprint down to the ring. Thatcher releasing the hold and sliding out. Jeff checking on his brother Matt, as well as kind of warding off Thatcher, you know, saying, you want to be a big man, you want to be the tough guy, get in this ring right now. And Timothy Thatcher saying, no. But, you know what? I'll see you at Crown Jewel. And I want you to know, Jeff, that I'm going to enjoy breaking your limbs. For 69 here, Timothy Thatcher setting up his match, challenging a hardcore legend in Jeff Hardy to a match at Crown Jewel. Jeff Hardy, I'm sure, will happily accept after Thatcher's attack of him and what he's just done to Matt. They get to 69 here, a good little segment, I would say. And then we head towards the first of two co-main events here. Kairi, Sane and Io Shirai make their respective entrances for Raw's Queen of the Ring final. You know, tag team partners at points, former women's tag team champions. Now going head to head here with that spot in the Queen of the Ring triple threat match, which comes with it if it's won, women's title shot of your choosing at SummerSlam. So there's big implications here, big rewards at stake. The 79 for the entrances, and then the match itself, Kairi Sane versus Io Shirai in the Queen of the Ring final on Raw. And Io Shirai picks up the win with the moonsault. It's for a 71. Really happy with that, I think. Great work between these two. The 70 from Shirai, the 68 from Sane, both doing well. Getting that 71, and it's Io Shirai who comes out on top. After the match, Kairi Sane raising Io Shirai's arm. They hug, they embrace, and Kairi Sane leaves the ring. Leaves Io Shirai to celebrate her victory, celebrate earning that spot in the Queen of the Ring triple threat match at Crown Jewel for an 81 here. Really good post-match segment between these two. Really happy with their work together here. And then our other co-main event, the King of the Ring final on Raw. Daniel Bryan and United States champion Kyle O'Reilly make their respective entrances for an 81. And then the match between two great technical wrestlers, two amazing superstars, Daniel Bryan, Kyle O'Reilly, who will come out on top here. And it is Kyle O'Reilly with a big upset victory. It's a great technical match between the two, but in the end, Kyle O'Reilly manages to lock in the Armageddon submission to Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan struggles for about a minute and a half, but in the end, Bryan, nowhere to go, square in the centre of the ring. No choice but to tap out, sending the United States champion Kyle O'Reilly to the King of the Ring final triple threat match at Crown Jewel. The 76 for the segment here, 82 from Bryan, 67 from Kyle. Kyle off his game a bit, sadly, but still getting that 67 and the 76. And Daniel Bryan's 82, helping them to that 76. A really good match. Really happy with both of the finals that have been on Raw here. And then after the match, Kyle O'Reilly and Daniel Bryan shake hands. Bryan raises Kyle O'Reilly's arm. A big show of respect from the WWE legend to Kyle O'Reilly, a relative newbie to WWE's landscape, especially on the main roster. For the 78 here, as we have Raw's representatives for the King and Queen of the Ring triple threat matches at Crown Jewel, Kyle O'Reilly and Io Shirai. And then afterwards, out comes The Miz for an 86, followed by Edge making his entrance for the 91. And then we have the contract signing between the two. The Miz talking about how Edge is old, Edge is injury prone, Edge does not have what it takes to be the face of this company. He's seen Edge's acting. It's about as good as his wrestling ability. No, what the WWE needs is an certified A-list star. They need someone who can talk the talk, who can wrestle the wrestle in here, who can act their ass off in whatever movie WWE want them to be in, because that is what's best for WWE as a brand, as a company, as an idea. And so that is what's going to happen when The Miz finally gets his hands back on the WWE Championship at Crown Jewel. The Miz signing the contract, and then Edge talking about how before he had to retire, he saw The Miz around here. And all The Miz was just a bully. A bully with this overinflated ego based on nothing. He goes back to 2011, WrestleMania 27, where Edge wrestled his last match for the world title, and Miz defended the WWE title as well. They were both world champions that night, and all these years later, it appears Miz has not dulled that ego with age. No. He lets it fuel him still, and Edge just says he doesn't understand it. He says Miz is a good superstar. He's a good actor, but he doesn't have that fire, that passion, that rage deep inside of him that the WWE champion needs. That Edge has. Edge, he says he's been gone for too long. And he's held this title for too little time to let go of it now. So he is going to go to Crown Jewel. He's going to get in the ring with The Miz. And he is going to leave exactly how he entered. The WWE champion. Because without this title, there's nothing left for Edge around here. And he is not done yet. Signing the contract, making it official, Edge and The Miz for the WWE title at Crown Jewel for a 91 here, segment rating wise. Really, really happy with that. A great end to the show with Raw's King and Queen of the Ring tournament finals, as well as this contract signing segments between Edge and The Miz, helping Raw's go home show heading into Crown Jewel to a 82 overall rating. Another really good episode of Raw. A little down from the 84 last week, but that 84 was well and above what I was expecting. So I am more than happy with this 82 as the A show continues to pull up the ratings to back it, increasing our popularity in 24 regions. A really, really good show from Raw as usual. And hopefully we can continue the good ratings from last week into this week again, with the go home episode of NXT. And NXT gets underway with John Cena making his way down to the ring for an 84 here. John Cena challenging Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship at Crown Jewel. And John Cena in the ring talking about Karrion Kross, talking about the match, how for years he's watched NXT, he's seen how amazing the superstars on this brand have been, and he says it is an honour to be here. And he can't wait to go to Crown Jewel and to beat Karrion Kross, to win the NXT title and to represent this brand. But he is interrupted by the Velveteen Dream. The Velveteen Dream talking about how John Cena is washed up. John Cena is a has-been. John Cena is just crowding the ring and wasting valuable airtime that could be spent on the face of NXT, the Velveteen Dream. John Cena retorting, bringing up Velveteen Dream's, failures of late. Well, a few of them actually losing the tag title match at WrestleMania, losing to Aleister Black in your house, losing the NXT Championship Triple Threat match, Money in the Bank qualifying, King of the Ring tournament. He says that, when John Cena was the face of WWE, that there was this big joke going around that, John Cena just show up and win, but as the face of NXT, clearly Velveteen Dream took an opposite approach, because it appears he just shows up and loses. Velveteen Dream taking exception to that, and it's an 82 for the segment, and it also leads into the announcement that tonight will be John Cena taking on the Velveteen Dream. John Cena making his NXT TV debut before his match on Sunday. Hopefully this will be a good start for John Cena on the black and gold brand. And then we head into our first match of the evening. One of 3 matches tonight that could have been at the pay-per-view, very conceivably, but it's just a time factor at the pay-per-view. So we get some pay-per-view quality matches tonight. The first one here, Damien Priest versus Finn Balor. It's been heating up for a hot minute. leading into Money in the Bank, where they were the two representatives from NXT, taking each other out of the equation in that match after the reckoning off the ladder. And then in Kindering qualifying, Damien Priest distracting Balor, and then talking about how he realised if he wants this legacy, he can't wait for chances. He wants his name to live forever. He has to start doing things. He has to be about action, and going after one of the biggest names in NXT history, Finn Balor, that is action. And so they have a match here, Damien Priest versus Finn Balor, and Damien Priest comes out on top with the South of Heaven, a massive win for Damien Priest here against Finn Balor. 70 for the segment, a really good match as well between the two. 58 from Priest and 75 from Balor. Both superstars off their game, sadly, but they have great chemistry, and it's still got a 70. If they were on their game, maybe a 72, 73, 74, but I'll take the 70. Match-wise, I think it gets the show off to a good start, and yeah, I'm happy about that. A good start for the Go Home episode of NXT here. Then afterwards, we have the entrances for the NXT's Queen of the Ring final. Natalya makes her way out, followed by Raquel Gonzalez, accompanied by Dakota Kai, of course, for a 64. And then Natalya versus Raquel Gonzalez in NXT's Queen of the Ring final. It's back and forth. Natalya doing her best. Dakota Kai maybe trying to cause a distraction on the outside at points, but then NXT Women's Champion Tegan Nox storming down to the ring, taking out Dakota Kai, the two brawling up the ramp and backstage. Natalya finally building some momentum on Raquel Gonzalez, but in the end, Raquel Gonzalez is able to get that one-armed powerbomb off and pick up the win. Raquel Gonzalez is the winner of NXT's Queen of the Ring bracket, and she will be going to that triple threat match. And she will be going to the Queen of the Ring triple threat finals at Crown Jewel against Io Shirai and Charlotte or Toni Storm. It's 61 for the match. Natalya off her game, sadly, but she still gets a 44. The 58 from Raquel, and I will take the 61 here. I am happy enough with that, as it's Raquel Gonzalez coming out on top here. We then have a promo from the NXT North American Champion Keith Lee. No open challenge from him tonight, but he talks about these last few weeks dealing with the MVPs, fighting Cedric and Ricochet and MVP all individually. And then he says it's a busy night tonight, but he will be bringing the NXT North American Championship Open Challenge to Crown Jewel on the pre-show. Keith Lee versus whoever wants to step up to him for an 87 here. Keith Lee, I feel like I'm stating the obvious, but really, really good on the mic. As we head into the next pay-per-view quality I'd say all the matches tonight could conceivably be on a pay-per-view, but this is a championship match, so even more so this. The Cruiserweight tag titles on the line. The Swords of Essex taking on the Lucha House Party here. And the Swords of Essex are the ones who come out on top. Ospreay pinning Metalik after the Stormbreaker, and the Swords of Essex making their third defense of the Cruiserweight tag team titles. 62 for the segment, 64 from Ospreay, 52 from Scotty, 50 from Dorado, and 38 from Metalik. Yeah, I think the 62 is, all things considered, very, very good in-ring performance-wise here. So I'm happy with that. Keeping the show going well here, I would say. And then we also show backstage footage of Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox still brawling around backstage. They've made their way out to the parking lot, and they're still going at it in the end. Security separating these two. William Regal coming out incredibly exasperated by this and announcing that these two will go head-to-head once again at Crown Jewel, but this time it will be Falls Count Anywhere. So hopefully that will be good, this heated rivalry going into a anything goes, pinfalls and submissions anywhere type matchup for a 61 here segment wise. And then we have our entrances for NXT's King of the Ring final. Angel Garza and Cameron Grimes making their way out to the ring for an 85. Both really good here entertainment wise, obviously. And then we have the match, NXT's King of the Ring final. Angel Garza versus Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes beating Finn Balor and Aleister Black to get here, but obviously he had help in both those occasions. Priest with Balor and The Fiend with Aleister Black. And on this occasion there is no help for Grimes. He tries his best, but it's Angel Garza who comes out on top with the wing clipper. Angel Garza stopping Cameron Grimes from flying up to the moon and earning himself a spot in that King of the Ring final triple threat match against Kyle O'Reilly and either Montez Ford or King Corbin at Crown Jewel. 76 for the segment. A really good match between these two. Garza with a 73, the 66 from Grimes. Really happy with this. The show keeping up the strong ratings thus far. Hopefully that can continue into our final two matches of the night. But afterwards, we have an episode of the Firefly Funhouse here. Bray Wyatt appearing on the screen, talking about how the Firefly Funhouse is a light for children and good boys and girls all around the world, showing them the way. But he could sense a darkness out there, blocking the light. Because where there was meant to be light, there was nothing but black. And we couldn't have that now, could we? For an 84. But then there's suddenly a knock at the door. Bray Wyatt looking a bit bemused, but going over, who could this be? Opening up the door and standing there in a black suit is Aleister Black. And he looks about as happy as you'd expect him to be. Bray Wyatt, very shocked, but kind of, you know, in that Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers type character, playing it off, you know. What, it's our good friend Aleister, come in, Aleister. Aleister coming in, Bray closing the door and turning around into a black mass from Aleister Black. Bray Wyatt going down. The children just, you know, booing as Aleister Black goes down to Bray Wyatt, leans into his ear and says, "I'll see him at Crown Jewel." For an 85, Aleister Black, the one knocking at the door this time, taking up Bray Wyatt in his own fun house and challenging to the Fiend to a match at Crown Jewel. We'll have to see. Good work from these two here. Hopefully the match will be good as well. In our penultimate match of the evening, a feud that's been building up from their match at In Your House for the Cruiserweigh title to eventually Phantasma turning on Rey Mysterio, costing him a Cruiserweigh title match against Andrade, aligning with Legado, taking off his mask and taking up the name Santos Escobar. The two going at it now, Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar. They make their entrances. Santos Escobar coming down to the ring with Legado, Andrade, Zelina Vega and Humberto Carrillo, and in the end, is that extra support that plays a part. Humberto providing a distraction, Santos Escobar hitting the Phantom Driver onto Rey Mysterio and using the ropes for leverage as well. Santos Escobar gets a big win in his career here against legend Rey Mysterio for an 80. Really good match between these two. 79 for Mysterio, 62 from Escobar. Really happy with that. And then after the match, Legado beat down on Rey Mysterio. Andrade, Carrillo and Escobar, they all get in the ring. Andrade and Carrillo join Escobar in the ring. They raise his hand and then they all begin to beat down on Rey Mysterio for the 78 here. Rey's son Dominic charges out to the ring and he gets Legado off Rey Mysterio a bit, but in the end the numbers advantage again coming into play. Mysterio trying but too weak to help his son, and Legado beating down on both of the Mysterios for a 77 before finally Lucha House Party, Kalisto, Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik all charge out to the ring as well, and now the numbers not so much in Legado's advantage. Andrade, Carrillo and Escobar very quickly making their way out of the ring here as Lucha House Party checking on the Mysterios and, you know, standing tall over Legado here faction wise for a 73 here. Happy with this. A lot of good segments, I would say, leading into the end of the show here. The main event, as announced earlier, John Cena taking on the Velveteen Dream. John Cena's NXT debut here, and John Cena comes out on top with the AA. It's not the best match of the evening, but it's still pretty good with a 77 there. 85 from Cena, the 66 from Dream. I'm happy with this as John Cena comes out on top in his NXT debut thanks to that attitude adjustment. And then after the match, Karrion Kross and Scarlett's music hits and they come out on the entranceway. Scarlett carrying down one of those sand timers to the ring and slowly rolling it in, pushing it towards John Cena. John Cena going over to it and picking it up and just looking at it. And he looks at Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross says, "Tick tock. Your time's running out, Mr. Cena." And John Cena laughing it up before he smashes the sand timer onto the mat. And John Cena just looking intensely at Karrion Kross and saying, "No, no, no. Your time is up. My time is now." For the 86 here, John Cena and Karrion Kross ending the show, heading into that NXT Championship match at Crown Jewel. I've a lot of high hopes for that match. I'm hoping it'll be really good, but the ending here helping NXT this week get the 81, another really good episode of NXT. I would say increased our popularity in 27 regions. Can't complain. NXT's representatives in the King and Queen of the Ring triple threat matches at Crown Jewels have been decided. Angel Garza and Raquel Gonzalez. Swords of Essex retain their Cruiserweight tag titles. Priest gets a big win over Balor, and Escobar does the same with a big win over Mysterio. And Cena beats the Velveteen Dream heading into that match with Karrion Kross at Crown Jewel. Can't complain. Really good episodes of NXT overall here in the Go Home show, and hopefully we can have another really good Go Home show episode next up, because it's time for Smackdown. And Smackdown gets underway here with the entrance of the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, coming to the ring for a 66. He's followed by Thaddeus Bullard, the Intercontinental Champion, and of course his manager Paul Heyman also making their way down to the ring for an 83 here. And then we have the first of two contract signing segments tonight. Bullard and Henry sit across from each other at the table. Mark Henry talks about how he can't wait to wipe that grin off Thaddeus Bullard's face. He can't wait to take that Intercontinental title he's never held. And it really is less about being Intercontinental Champion, getting that gold, and more about finally teaching Thaddeus Bullard a lesson in respect that apparently seems like it's long overdue. Bullard and Heyman kind of laughing to themselves, and then Heyman talks about how Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, such an illustrious career, you'd imagine, but not really, is it? Hardly any titles, hardly any accolades to leave behind. You'd think after such a long career, Mark Henry would leave a legacy worth remembering, but no. Because when all things are said and done, when Mark Henry finally walks off into that sunset at Smackdown Super-Showdown, no one will remember Mark Henry the wrestler. No one will remember Mark Henry the champion. They will remember Mark Henry the loser, the man Thaddeus Bullard to put down. And he won't even be top of that list because Thaddeus Bullard already took down The Undertaker. But, you know, you can be a good second, third place for now. I guess that's fine for you. That's a position I'd imagine much more to a man of your abilities, stature. For Bullard and Henry both signed the contract, both making it official. Thaddeus Bullard versus Mark Henry for the Intercontinental Championship at Super-Showdown. Title versus career. Mark Henry loses. He must officially, fully retire. Then after deciding the contract, Bullard stands up. Henry stands up as well. They kind of stare at each other. Well, Bullard reaches down and Heyman hands him the Intercontinental title, and Bullard and Heyman leave the ring, not wanting to risk any fight breaking out here, maybe understandably heading into their title match. 1 day away in game for an 81 here. Very good segment between the two. And then we go backstage for an interview. Kayla Braxton interviewing Roman Reigns, the rest of the bloodline there, Jimmy, Jay, and Jacob. And Kayla asks Roman Reigns, what are his thoughts on his SmackDown Tag Team Champion partner being in the King of the Ring final after defeating him last week? And Roman, so rarely lost for words, just kind of stares at Kayla before shaking his head and leading the bloodline off for an 81. Roman Reigns very clearly not happy about that particular question from Kayla Braxton and the situation regarding it. But we're moving on into the first match of the evening. Alexa Bliss versus Ruby Riott. A few weeks back, Morgan being knocked out Queen of the Ring by Nikki Cross. And then the Riott Squad attacking Bliss last week, distracting Nikki Cross, causing her to lose in the Queen of the Ring tournament. And now Bliss taking on Ruby Riott one-on-one herself. And coming out on top, Alexa Bliss picking up the win with a sparkle splash for a 54 here. Yeah, disappointing 7 rating, I'd say. It's 61 and 58 in ring for Bliss and Riott, respectively. You'd hope for it something a little more than the 54, but it's not the worst in the world, so I'll try not to focus on it too much. Then afterwards, Kayla Braxton, I've put Caden Carr as Kayla Braxton, interviewing Montez Ford in a much more happy mood, defeating Roman Reigns last week, earning a spot in the King of the Ring final, earning a spot in SmackDown's King of the Ring final, which will take place at Super Showdown. Whilst the SmackDown tag titles are defended tonight, Kayla asks Montez about that tag team title match tonight, him and Reigns defending against the Dirty Dogs, Storm and Rude. Montez Ford saying he is ready, he is hyped up. He can feel the adrenaline surging through his body, and he can't wait to get in there tonight and defend those SmackDown tag team titles, and then get in there tomorrow night again and take on King Corbin, beat King Corbin, finally knock the king right out of him, and earn a spot in that King of the Ring final at Crown Jewel for a 78 here. Very good from Montez Ford. Before we have the next match of the evening, Cameron taking on Naomi. Naomi attacking Rhea Ripley last week, turning on her, aligning with Nia Jax, and taking on her former partner Cameron here tonight. And Naomi does come on top with a split-legged moonsault. 50 for Naomi, 19 for Cameron. The 19 definitely bringing it down a bit, but only to a 43. As after the match, Naomi talks about how she's one of the most senior female members of the locker room, and yet she gets so little respect from management, so little respect from her fellow superstars and from the fans as well. And she was tired of waiting for this imaginary opportunity to come along. No, she's realised it was time for her to just take it. And then I saw, guess who come back? Nia Jax. A woman like family to me. Walk back through those doors and go right for Rhea Ripley, and I realised that's what I should have been doing all along too. And then this last week I saw Nia Jax attacking Rhea once again. I got out there, Nia left, but this time I realised, what am I doing? Playing second fiddle to Rhea Ripley, someone who's been here for all of 5 seconds. And yet what, management loves her more because, well, I'm not going to say the obvious reason why, but I'm tired of waiting. And so I took Rhea down, I took my shot, I took my chance, and at Super Showdown, I'm going to take the Women's Universal Championship from Rhea Ripley for a 64 here. Good from Naomi. As then, before the next matchup, King Corbin and Ace Austin make their way down to the ring. King Corbin beating Johnny Gargano last week in that King of the Ring semi-final, thanks to the distraction from the debuting Ace Austin. And King Corbin talks about how the King is a very strong person, a very strong position afforded to a very strong man like King Corbin. But sometimes even the King needs a little support. And I don't know if anyone plays card games here, like blackjack, but, well, in blackjack, the strongest, greatest hand you can get is it when you get a king and an ace. And so I realized maybe I need to get myself an ace. Of course, referring to Ace Austin here, formerly of Impact Wrestling, signed here, aligning with King Corbin for the moment. And they're in action next. Ace Austin's WWE debut with King Corbin, tag team action against Heavy Machinery as a 66 for this pre-match segment, and then the match. Gets a 65, good little debut. King Corbin pinning Tucker with the end of days. Corbin with a 70, 59 from Ace, 38 from Tucker, 46 from Otis. Decent little matchup here, I would say, as Ace Austin and King Corbin come out on top for the 65. And then after the match, King Corbin and Ace Austin going up the ramp, and King Corbin, crown on his head and his little cape and scepter, takes his place and sits on the King of the Ring throne that's at the top of the ramp, whilst Ace Austin stands beside him, King Corbin, looking to retain that King of the Ring title come Crown Jewel for 71. And then next up we have SmackDown's Queen of the Ring final, Charlotte Flair versus Toni Storm. It's a good match, it's back and it's forth. In the end, Bianca Belair, the $1 Million Champion's music hits. She comes out onto the stage. Toni Storm, distracted by this. Toni Storm attacking Bianca a few weeks ago, and now getting distracted by Bianca's sudden appearance, providing a distraction for Charlotte Flair to hit a big boot and then lock in that figure 8 leg lock. Toni no choice but to tap out, giving Charlotte Flair the win. Charlotte Flair is advancing into the Queen of the Ring triple threat final against Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai at Crown Jewel for a 63 segment rating wise. 68 for Charlotte Flair and a 55 for Toni Storm. Very happy with this. And then after the match, Charlotte Flair making her way up the ramp and going to that throne, turning to the fans and saying they already know she's the Queen of WWE, and I guess it's time to get the crown to go with it for a 79 here from Charlotte. Very well done. Before we head into the main event of this evening for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Montez Ford and Roman Reigns taking on the Dirty Dogs, James Storm and Robert Roode. And the match is going, it's back and forth, it could go either way, but in the end, Montez Ford going up, preparing for that frog splash onto James Storm, leaping into the air and not noticing Roman Reigns slip into the ring as Roman charges, catches Montez Ford in the air with a massive spear, taking him out before Roman Reigns shakes his head down at Montez Ford before leaving the ring, going up the ramp and heading backstage, leaving for the Dirty Dogs to get things together, tag out to the other man, and then set up for the big money. James Storm hitting it on Montez Ford, picking up the win. The Dirty Dogs have won the SmackDown Tag Team titles. James Storm and Robert Roode have come out on top after Roman Reigns turning on Montez Ford here. Roman obviously very much not happy about Ford defeating him in King of the Ring last week. 74 for the match. Good little match between these guys. 85 from Reigns, 76 from Ford, 72 from Roode, and the 51 from Storm. Both great chemistry from Ford and Reigns, excellent chemistry from Storm and Roode. Got the crowd hotter. Can't ask for much more, I would say. A very good main event between these four guys here, as the Dirty Dogs are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And then after the match, Montez Ford kind of coming to and getting helped out the ring by referee, and outcharges Roman Reigns with a big Superman punch on the outside the ring to Montez Ford, dazing him, knocking him towards those steel steps. And then Roman Reigns charges at him and does that kind of frontwards drop kick he does, sending Montez Ford flying into those steps. Montez Ford more banged up than ever. The referees and the medics checking on Ford as Roman Reigns once again walks away for the 79 here. Roman Reigns very, very much not happy with Montez Ford. Before we head into the second contract signing of the night, Braun Strowman making his way down to the ring for the 81, followed of course by the Universal Champion Big E making his entrance for the 89, and then the contract signing itself. Braun Strowman talking about finally getting a shot to win back his Universal Champion, and how Big E, and how this could have just been about that. It could have been just about winning that title, but Big E has been pissing him off these last couple weeks, and so Braun Strowman can't wait to both get these hands on the Universal title and get these hands onto Big E and take him out for good here. And Big E talking about how he's been looking for this fight, and Braun Strowman is definitely going to be a fight, but in the end, it's going to be exactly the same thing. Still your Universal Champion, Big E. The both men signing the contracts and then staring down as the show goes off air, just like the one at contract signing earlier. Not coming to blows here, both men neither wanting to hurt themselves before their match in 1 day's time. So deciding to just stare down to end things for an 87. Really good contract signing segment between these two here, and that 87 helps SmackDown overall to get an 80. A good overall rating, as long as we're keeping things at an 80 or above for now, I'm more than happy with it. I increased our popularity in 27 regions. Yeah, another really good overall week, I would say. And the next episode will focus on those two pay-per-view events. WWE Smackdown Super-Showdown on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday in-game, of course, will be Crown Jewel featuring the King and Queen of the Ring finals. I'll just go over the card for you all now. At WWE Smackdown Super Showdown, we have Bianca Belair defending her $1 million championship against Toni Storm. King Corbin taking on Montez Ford in that King of the Ring final to earn a spot in the triple threat match at Crown Jewel with the King of the Ring title on the line, of course. The Riot Squad defend their women's tag team championships against Bliss Cross Applesauce, the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Thaddeus Bullard takes on Mark Henry. Thaddeus Bullard's Intercontinental title on the line against Mark Henry's career. Who's going to come out on top? That'll be a good match, I'm hoping. Rhea Ripley defends her women's Universal title against Naomi. Naomi turning on Rhea Ripley last week, and now Rhea Ripley, I'm sure, looking very much forward to getting her hands onto Naomi at SmackDown Super Showdown. And then in the main event, Big E defends his Universal Championship against Braun Strowman. This should be a war between these two men, and I'm very much looking forward to it. As well as possibly one or two other matches being added on the pre-show. I haven't quite decided, but we will see. And then going into the second pay-per-view, Crown Jewel, we have Breezango defending their Raw Tag Team Championships against Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. Keith Lee will have the Keith Lee North American Championship Open Challenge as usual, as he does on NXT. Adam Cole will take on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens looking for revenge on Adam Cole. Kevin Owens came within inches of winning Money in the Bank, taken out by Adam Cole's UE squad mate Roderick Strong. He's got revenge on Strong, and now he wants it on Cole as well. Tegan Nox defends her NXT Women's Championship against former best friend Dakota Kai, this time in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This should be a massive battle between the two, and I'm looking forward to it. Timmy Thatcher defends his hardcore title in a hardcore match, of course, against Jeff Hardy, a hardcore legend. Jeff Hardy has shown in the past he's willing to put his body on the line, do what it takes to win, and will he be able to come out on top in this match? We will have to wait and see. Andrade defends the Cruiserweight Championship against Kalisto. Match I'm really looking forward to. I hope it goes really well. Asuka defends her Women's World Championship against Bayley. Bayley defeating Sasha Banks to become number one contender, and now getting that shot against Asuka. Who's going to come out on top? We'll have to wait and see. We're going to find out next episode. In the Queen of the Ring Triple Threat match final, Io Shirai of Raw, Raquel Gonzalez of NXT, and Charlotte Flair of SmackDown. Three amazing combatants going at it, but only one will leave as the inaugural Queen of the Ring. Aleister Black takes on The Fiend. Two incredibly dark characters going head to head. Which will come out on top? We'll have to wait and find out. In the King of the Ring Triple Threat match final as well, with much younger competitors compared to the Queen of the Ring final. But which of these guys is going to come out on top and become the King of the Ring? And of course, remember that the winners of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring Triple Threat matches will earn a shot at a title of their choosing at SummerSlam. So, obviously, WWE Universal NXT for the King of the Ring, and the Women's World, Women's Universal, and NXT Women's for the Queen of the Ring, which is a big prize to be had. The WWE title on the line as well when Edge defends his gold against The Miz. The Miz, been a lot of talk as of late, as usual, but will he be able to back it up and finally reclaim the WWE Championship? And then in the main event of Crown Jewel, the NXT Championship on the line. The champion, Karrion Kross, taking on the challenger, WWE legend, 16-time world champion, John Cena. John Cena fighting for the NXT Championship for the first time in his career, going head-to-head with Karrion Kross, who specifically seeked John Cena out, looking to take down this false god, as he said. And will he be able to back up those words in the ring come Crown Jewel? We will have to wait to find out. But those are the cards for the pay-per-views in the next episode coming up on Saturday. And if you like this week's episode and you're looking forward to those pay-per-views, wanting to see what happens next in all these storylines, please like and subscribe for more. And thank you for watching.